What I think being a teacher leader means is not just working within the four walls of your classroom. Definitely you're a leader for your students, but also being a leader for other teachers.
I feel like there are a lot of policymakers right now in education who are disconnected from the classroom, and so being a teacher leader is important because I'm advocating for the changes that I'm directly seeing a need for.
By being a teacher leader, I've personally found that it's extremely powerful to show others what they can do in their communities around them.
Students who don't have opportunities need someone to advocate loudly for them. And you have to be willing to fall on your sword sometimes and take a risk for your students so that they can have a better learning environment.
I was able to show students that I'm not just a teacher, I'm a leader in our community.
Assalamualaikum and very good day to my lecturer, Madam Nadia, and my fellow friends. So, do you enjoy watching the short interview video earlier? I hope you do. So for today's presentation, my group, which is Group 6, will present to you about a topic that related to the earlier video, which is about the leadership and management in school. So with all, let's start. Before we start with our presentation, let me introduce to you to all the presenters for today. So the first one is Nurul Najah binti Mustafa Kamal, which is me, will present to you about the introduction. Ms. Nazatul Hayana binti Mat Ali will talk about the type of leadership. The third one will be Nordiana Amira binti Hafiz Anwar will talk about the issues and challenges in leadership and management. The fourth one will be Farzana binti Muhammad Sanusi will talk about the school management issues. And the last presenter will be Atira binti Jamaluddin will talk about the importance of leadership and management in school and also the conclusion. So with all, let's start. Hi, I am Nurul Najah binti Mustafa Kamal. We start the presentation with the introduction of leadership and management in school. So, we will begin with the definition of the leadership. So, leadership can be defined as the ability of an individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization. In education, leadership can be defined as the process of enlisting and guiding the talent and energize of teachers, pupils, and parents toward achieving common educational aims. So, the leaders in school will be the teachers. They not only manage students but also act as a leader among their colleagues. So, the teachers are resource providers that help students and other teachers find online and community resources. They provide valuable classroom management and teaching strategies to other teachers. Next is the management. So management can be defined as the process of administering and controlling the affairs of the organization irrespective of its nature, type, structure, and size. It is an act of creating and maintaining such a business environment wherein the members of the organization can work together and also achieve business objectives efficiently and effectively. In education, management is a field which is concerned with the operation of educational organization. It is the process of planning, organizing, and directing activities in a school effectively utilizing human and material resources in order to accomplish the school's objective. It is not a field limited to the principal of the school, but all parties involved in education should gain insight in the educational management as it is vital to help schools function successfully and effectively realize their goals. Next, I will talk about the difference between leadership and management. So there are some differences that we can look out and I will explain some of it one by one. Okay, so the first one will be leaders think idea while managers think execution. So the leader will do so by coming up with new ideas and driving the shift to a forward-thinking mindset. In other words, manager always look for answer to how and when, while leader look for answer to what and why. Therefore, the manager's main responsibility is to fulfill their task based on the leader vision. Their main job is to ensure that people on different functions with different responsibilities operate efficiently, productively, and that they feel like they can share their voices. The next one will be leaders look in the future while managers work in the present. So the manager's most important goal is to achieve organizational goals by implementing process and the procedure around budgeting, organizational structuring and staffing. On the other hand, leaders tend to think ahead and capitalize on the future opportunities. However, the leadership vision of the future means nothing if it can't be transparently and clearly communicated to both manager and employees. The last one will be leaders set the vision and managers follow it. When it comes to setting and executing a mission and vision of an organizational, managers and leaders have different roles. Leaders are visionary. Most of them have clear vision of what and where they want their organization to be in the future. However, they themselves are not the only one responsible for making that vision come true. Here, managers will play a crucial role, while leaders may be responsible through efficient leadership and communication to transfer the company mission, vision, and goals to the entire organization. The managers are responsible for keeping employees aligned with the core company values and goals. So in education setting, education leadership is the act of influencing others in educational setting to achieve goals and necessitates action of some kinds, while the educational management entails carrying the responsibility for the proper functioning of a system in an educational institution in which others will be participate. So the last part for my presentation will be about the qualities of a good leader in school. So how we want to be a teachers and in the same time become a good leaders in school. So these are some qualities or skills that we can use in school. So the first one is teachers should leading through teaching and learning. So for a school leader to be successful in their role, they need to lead the way in driving teaching and learning outcomes first and foremost. This involves setting expectations about the school's learning practice and ensuring the organization's values and behavior underpin a focus on improving student success. A good leadership should always seek to innovate in the field of education, keeping up to date with the latest development, while also seeking feedback from school and staff and students. Importantly, schools leaders should encourage the continuous learning and development of teaching staff so that educational methods are informed by current industry practice. Beyond their own school, leaders should encourage collaboration and partnership with other education providers, resulting in broader impact on the educational system. The second one will be about the developing self and others. Good school leadership should always have a strong focus on continued professional development. This starts with leaders growing their own skills and knowledge through a commitment to a professional development and personal health and well-being. It should also promote the development of others teaching staff. Leaders within schools should work with staff to understand their personal development needs and skills as well as knowledge gaps. This can help to create a culture of empowered self-directed learning and responsibilities, leading by example to demonstrate how schooling staff can improve their teaching capacity. The next one will be promoting positive change in school environment. With the educational space evolving rapidly, it is essential for leaders in schools to be open to innovation and change and to drive new initiatives in the school environment. The change should remain consistently with the school values and goals while generally working toward the improvement of students' outcomes. Leaders in school should ensure that a culture of research, innovation, and creativity is at the heart of the organization and should seek regular feedback and also some data on student performance relating to changes. The next one will be about the standard and discipline. Discipline is required in order to execute the goal. Even if the teacher have a vision or a good idea, it will be useless without discipline. If the teacher or you want to execute effectively, you should need some discipline. To be a good leader, we need to be self-disciplined and make sure others on our team are disciplined also. Next, constant learning. So we as the leaders and also the teachers always need to continue to learn about new things, because when things are changing rapidly, it is important to constantly learn and challenge ourselves to become more better and better for every day. And the last one is be a follower. Leaders should learn to recognize the value of the team member, learn from them, and encourage the other team members to learn from them. Learn things that we as a teacher didn't know from a person who specialized in that area. So I think that's all for my part. Let us continue to the second presenter. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Najiha. Okay, now we will proceed to my part. I am Nastatul Hayana binti Maknali and I will explain about types of leadership. For this section, I will explain about 3 types of leadership, which are: first, instructional leadership; second is transactional leadership; and lastly, we will go through for transformational leadership. Now we will look at the instructional leadership. Okay, what is instructional leadership? Based on Robinson in 2011, a school vision that is concentrated on student learning is an important element of instructional leadership. School-based administrators must work directly with teachers to ensure continual improvement and best practice in their teaching. Becoming an instructional leader requires leaders who are competent, confident, and qualified to aid teachers in their journey to improve their instructional strategies. As Fink and Resnick in 2001 stated, most principals spend relatively little time in classroom and even less analyzing instruction with teachers. Instructional leadership requires that principals spend time with teachers and find ways to improve their teaching practice. Through teacher assessments, informal conversations, and guided learning opportunities, principals can have great influence in leading instructional practice in their school. It is imperative that school leaders have a student-centered vision for their school. Instructional leaders place an emphasis on student learning in their daily work, and they are guided by this vision. Revisiting the school vision should be a yearly task in which input from all stakeholders, including teachers, students, parents, and community members, is taken into account. As Haley 2009 stated, taking a school from mediocre to great requires a leader who has a vision and is focused on that vision. Most importantly, school vision must be directly related to student learning and the pursuit of finding ways to improve learning in the school. Achieving the vision requires their work to be deeply informed by knowledge of how to improve learning and teaching. That is why we must put education back into educational leadership. It is stated by Robinson in 2011. Too often, the urgent issue takes priority over the important ones, which is why principals often feel that they spend too much time working on administrative, budget, and other school problems and not enough time working with teachers on instructional issues. It is stated by southward in 2003. No matter the leadership style that administrators employ, they must put student learning and achievement at the forefront of any decision that they make. Limond and Giroud in 2014 stated that without the involved direction of the principal, the Faculty of Schools will never accomplish the task of meeting the needs of students and helping them progress. This decision may not always be the easiest ones, but maximizing student learning is essential. Now, as the second type of leadership is transactional leadership. According to Bass in 1997, a transactional leader is one who operates within a defined system and follows its rule. Control is maintained through process. Transactional leadership appeals to an individual self-interest and is mainly an exchange process. Transactional leaders try to maintain existing structure of organizations. Now we will look at the dimensions of transactional leadership that is defined by Bass and Riggio in 2006. The first dimension is contingent reward. The primary aim of a transactional leader is to achieve organizational objectives. The leader gives various rewards to improve the performance and motivations of followers who can get the reward while fulfilling the mandate. The second dimension is defined as management by exception. This dimension can be applied in two ways, by active or passive. In the case of active leaders, they will correct the mistakes of followers by tracking their performance. However, if the leader follows a more passive approach, they will wait for the emergence of errors before making corrections. Transactional leader will follow performance and when problems arise, take actions to correct the problems. Now we will look at the last part of types leadership, which are transformational leadership. Okay. Transformational leadership has been found to have a positive effect on school and organizational conditions. Nordhaus in 2001 defined transformational leadership as the ability to get people to want to change, improve, and be led. So this is the simplest of definitions. It encompasses the idea that this style of leadership helps to assess individual motives, satisfy organizational members' needs, and value them. Burns in 1978 described transformational leadership as a way to satisfy followers' needs and to support followers in moving toward a higher level of work performance. This type of leadership also promotes organizational involvement through a work environment where respect is displayed and participation is encouraged. Okay, this is the key considerations of transformational leadership. Strong transformational leaders manage to motivate followers to achieve more than originally planned and create a supportive organizational climate where individual needs and differences are both acknowledged and respected. It's stated by Bass in 1998. This respectful and motivational environment is a key factor in increasing productivity and in creating a sense of value and support among staff. Another important is the goals are shared, whereby both leader and followers focus on the common good and commit to the organization's mission and values, stated by Menon in 2014. This shared commitment leads to openness and trust in the organizational climate as members learn to have self-interest for the sake of the organization. Next, the leader does not seek to maintain existing systems and practice. Leaders are willing to take risks in order to provide a stimulus for change and innovation, is stated by Buzz and Overlio in 1994. This approach underlines a principal understanding that change is a vital part of an organization and thus plays an integral role in successful leadership. As Fulan in 2001 discussed, the more complex society becomes, the more sophisticated and ever-changing leadership must become. And lastly, leaders have distinct traits that show a genuine respect and care for their followers. Transformational leaders pursue new ways of doing things and are less likely to support the status quo, stated by Buzz in 1998. They attempt to create and shape an environment and also encourage their followers to be a part of the success. Transformational leaders have characteristics of charisma, inspirational, intellectual stimulations, and also individual considerations. By leading in this way, they ultimately increase organizational members' commitment, capacity, and engagement in meeting goals. These fundamental character traits are common amongst transformational leaders. Okay, now we will look at the transactional leadership versus transformational leadership. First, for meaning, for transactional leadership employs rewards and punishment for motivating followers. Whereas transformational leadership is leader employs charisma and enthusiasm to inspire his followers. Okay, for the concept, transactional leadership is leader lays emphasis on his relation with followers, while transformational leadership is leader lays emphasis on values, ideals, morals, and needs of followers. For the transactional leadership, it is focused more on planning and execution, while transformational leadership, it focuses more on innovation. And lastly, for motivational tools, transactional leadership is to motivate and inspire followers by giving more priority to self-interest, while transformational leadership is to stimulate followers by making group interest as priority. Okay, now what can we conclude from these types of leadership? Okay, first, although transformational leadership has proven to be a dynamic and effective leadership style in schools, it is not enough to slowly use this approach, because Menon in 2014 suggested that transformational leadership practices are not sufficient for effectiveness unless they are combined with additional leadership behaviors such as those linked to instructional leadership. So, in the future, when we become a leader, make sure we apply transformational leadership as well with instructional leadership. That's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for the previous presenter. My name is Nurdiana Amira. I would like to talk about the issues and challenges in leadership and also management. Today I will point out three main issues and challenges in leadership and also management. The first one is lack of leadership skills among teachers. The second one is unprofessional classroom management, and the third one is weak school administration management. The first issues and also the challenges in leadership and also management is lack of leadership skills among teachers. Based on this researcher, it stated that most of the teachers are unaware that they are leaders at school because they remote people with positions such as principal and district education officials are leaders. The second is they feel that they are only teachers and not leaders. Okay, what I want to point out here is when they have lack of leadership skills, they will prone to failure. Okay, for instance, like they will have this selfishness in their self because when they are unaware for being a leader, they will neglect the responsibility for the students because they are actually a leaders for the students. So they need to enhance their leadership skills in their self so that they could communicate, build and maintain trust, and also manage the conflict in the classroom management. The second one is they feel like they are only teachers. Okay, this is probably the common issues that happen even in our country because they only thought that as a teachers we just give them homework, give them tasks and done, which is not very good example as a teachers, because when they have this kind of behavior it will emphasize the negative impact for the school and also the student achievement. So as a conclusion, when the teachers have lack of leadership skills, it will be very worse issues for the school, and to fix that is they have to start building a leadership skills in their self. The second part is teachers being unprofessional for classroom management, where they not enough time to plan and prepare all the tasks of students. They have these struggles to settle and update content presentation and of documents. The data collection of students are also always pending. And the second one is problem arise when teachers are expected to apply a fixed curriculum to students with vastly different needs. And as you can see, students learn at different speeds. Thus, it's really hard for the teachers to manage all the students. So when they have unprofessional classroom management, it will affect for the teachers and also the student as well. So when the teachers manage the classroom unprofessionally, it will affect a lot of things, such as the teachers couldn't create the peaceful learning environment that will be chaotic between the teachers and also the students. Plus, the students couldn't give a good cooperation and it will affect the discipline as well. The second one is the teachers couldn't establish the classroom rules and procedures, since we couldn't manage the classroom really well and effectively, so it will break all the rules and procedures all in that. It will be unplanned and unorganized. And lastly, the teachers will fail to manage the classroom activities. So all the management is really important to do it before the classroom begins. And the last part is weak school administration management. When we talk about weak school administration management, it is all about the top level of the organization. Talking about school administration, it will focus on attention primarily on the school, and it is more concerned with the institution, its goal, policy, and also the execution of these policies. So when they have bad school administration, then it will affect the primary attention of the goals, policy, and many more. Okay, So when they have weak management, they will fail to organize the school in a proper way, and at the same time it will fail to provide the initiative for the students and also the teachers. So that's why I point out here, when ones become unprofessional, their performance will suffer along with the student achievement. And not just that, when they fail to develop the ethical judgment, or maybe not trained well in terms of attitude, or having unorganized of co-curricular activities, for instance, then it will affect the school management as well. So this is one of the biggest issues when the leadership and also the management is failed to work.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farzana binti Muhammad Sanusi and I am the fourth presenter. Today, I am going to explain about the school management issues and how to improve the leadership management. So, let's get started. First of all, I am going to explain about the school management issues. The first issue is communication and collaboration. It is because there is no platform to provide seamless communication between students, administrators, staffs, and also the teachers. As there is a big communication gap between students and teachers, it will increase the student disciplines incidents to happen. What can the school management do to handle this issue is by improving the web and mobile-based education management system, as it will improve the communication through instant notifications and alerts via email, SMS, and push messages to keep the constituents informed at every step of the journey to build a relationship and improve the student retention. The second issue is involving the student monitoring. Teachers are struggling to monitor students' activities, including the attendance, student leave, discipline, assignment, all at once. What leads to this issue is that the school administrators are lacking in result-based monitoring tools to track student progress. The school administrator can upgrade the result-based monitoring tools. For example, they can automate and streamline student attendance and absenteeism using student information system, which delivers real-time status updates of student activities to support learning needs. Now, I am going to explain and talk about on how to improve leadership and management at school. One of the steps is by following the qualities of an effective leader. The same qualities that make a leader effective also can be applied to the teacher's leader. Teachers need to be highly knowledgeable about their field, whether it is literacy, special education, or a particular content or specialist area. Teachers need to know and apply the latest and most relevant research and generously share information and resources with others. Teachers and also members of the school need to willingly mentor, coach, and co-teach with colleges. Also, at the same time, they need to be a learner who are open to change and who constantly seek to get better. The other step to improve leadership and management at school is through build trusting relationships. Without high-level trust and respect between and among all members of a school community, student achievement will be interrupted every time. To build a trusting relationship, teachers can first actively work to establish and maintain close ties with the principal, colleagues, and all members of the school community. The second one is teacher can publicly and privately celebrating the strength and effort of the principal, fellow teachers, students, and also their families. Teacher also can develop a school-wide culture of concern and caring for all students. Teachers also need to be a good communicators orally, in writing, online, and through social media. As a result of the trusting relationships, the school surrounding will be courageously speak up to ask the hard questions, reach out and solve on issues that need resolution, listen without judgment, and respect everyone's voice. So that's all from me today. I hope all of you can get the benefit from my presentation, and I will pass to the next presenters. Thank you.
Thank you Farzana for the explanation. So, I am Atirah binti Jamaluddin and I will highlight and explain some of the important leadership and management in school. Leadership plays an important role in development of any organization, and there are no organization that can work efficiently without effective leadership. School leadership has become a priority in education policy agendas across the world because it plays a role in improving classroom practice, school policy, and connection between individual schools and outside world. The first point of the importance of the leadership in school is contribute to improve students' learning. A research found out that relationship between school leadership and student learning is mostly indirect, as school leaders that work mainly outside of the classroom, their impact on student learning is largely mediated through other people's event and organizational factors such as teachers, classroom practice, and also school climate. For example, high-quality leader will set a direction for establish a clear vision of school and student. Leader also provide teacher with necessary support for education and ensure the organizational structure work as planned. School leader will influence the motivation, capacity, and working condition of teachers who that shapes the classroom practice and student learning. Hence, the powerful of role of school leader will help to create the condition of effective teaching and learning. The second point of the importance of leadership in school is it links the school to their environment. School leaders are in charge of connecting and adapting school to their surrounding environment and also increasingly need to lead the inside and outside of the school in order to influence the environment, especially in small town and rural area. School leader is one of the most important person in the community. The most successful school leaders are typically highly engaged and trusted by the parents and also the community itself. Therefore, school leader plays important role in strengthening the relationship between school and community around it. The third point of the importance of leadership in school is to provide a positive working environment. It is a leader's duty to ensure that their staff happy with the working environment, including educational organization itself, which is the school. A leader needs to establish personal relationship with his subordinates and ties to meet the requirement. Welfare of the worker will be more assured with the presence of the school leader itself. So, let we move to the importance of the management in school. We know that educational management function is to supervise, plan, strategize, and implement structure to execute an education system. With management, the school will run smoothly. The first point is ready for any changes. We know that educational management can be considered as a continuous or dynamic processes because the principles are changeable and it changes in time. Every field are changing from time to time in respect of the new policy and new action. So, the process of management is dynamic and the management itself are ready to face all the changes. The second point is to provide material resources. Another important aspect of the scope educational management is to provide the material resources such as land, building, classroom, equipment, teaching aid, library, and all the things that related to educational institution. So, the process of teaching and learning will be run smoothly without any problem. The third point is to provide human resource. Human resource tend to have a potential in an organization. School human resource management is activity that are necessary for the maintenance of the school workforce to achieve its goal. For example, in administrating teacher and staff needs, identification of staff requirement, education and professional development, and also performance appraisal. Therefore, with human resource, the educational system will be more assured and organized. In conclusion, leadership is more focusing on motivation, vision, teams, and also peoples in school. While management, it provides a system and process that are very important to smooth day-to-day running of the school. Both leadership and management are very essential for successful school development. So, that's all from us. If you guys have a question about this topic, you can ask us during discussion in our group WhatsApp, okay? That's all from us. Thank you.